Good morning to all. Next we'll discuss about the proteins. So proteins are nothing but they are the polymers. They are the polymeric structures. So they are polymers of alpha amino acids. Polymers of alpha amino acids. So what do you mean by amino acids? These are the monomeric units. Amino acids are nothing but monomeric units. So that is a carbon, with that carboxyl group is there, and to the same carbon an amine group is also there. Then it is called as alpha amino acids. This is the alpha carbon. To the alpha carbon amino group is present. Then it is called as alpha amino acids. So it is this alpha carbon is bonded to an R group. Based upon the R group, the amino acids are different. So if R is a H, so if R is an H, so one more hydrogen if we have, so then it is glycine. If R is a CH3 group, then it is alanine. If R is an CH3 twice CH group, then it is valine. Likewise, so as the R group changes, the name also is going to change. So there are some 20 naturally occurring amino acids are there. So in this amino acids, what all questions you may get is, so we have two types of amino acids. One is essential amino acid, another one is non-essential amino acid. So that we are going to discuss with the question. In the question format we have. So this is about amino acids. Amino acids are nothing but, our proteins are nothing but polymers of alpha amino acids. So each amino acid is going to bond to another amino acid. Each amino acidic group is going to bond to another amino acid with the elimination of H2O. And H2O is eliminated. With that, the compound is one amino acid is bonded to another amino acid. And that bond is called as a peptide linkage. Peptide linkage. One amino acid is bonded to another amino acid by the elimination of H2O through a peptide linkage. So the question will be asked, what is peptide linkage? That also we'll discuss. And how many peptide bonds are present in a chain if it consists of these many amino acids? That also is a type of question. So that also we'll discuss. Okay. So essential, what are essential amino acids? Is glycine an essential amino acid? So as I said, amino acids are of two types, essential amino acids and other one is non-essential amino acids. So essential amino acids are nothing but the amino acids which are not synthesized in the body. So the few amino acids are synthesized in the body and few are not synthesized in the body. So essential amino acids are the one which are not synthesized in the body. So that's why we need to take them in the diet, or we need to obtain them through our diet. So they are needed for our body. Since it is not synthesized in the body, we need to take them in the form of diet. So such kind of amino acids are called as essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are the amino acids which are not synthesized. Not synthesized in the body. Not synthesized in the body, but need to include them in our diet because it is needed for our body. Example, which are the essential amino acids we shall see. That is valine, we have leucine, we have any 2, 3 you remember, arginine. So valine, leucine and arginine, methionine, isoleucine, all these are example for essential amino acids. Okay. So when it comes to non-essential amino acids, so non-essential amino acids are synthesized in our body. So they are synthesized in our body. So that's why we need not to take them in the diet. synthesized by our body. So we need not to take them in our diet. We have example. So example is glycine, we have alanine, we have aspartic acid, glutamic acid, serine. So all these are few things which are synthesized by our body. So need not to include in our diet. Example, glycine, alanine. So question is continued here. Is glycine is an essential amino acid? So for this answer is no. So no, glycine is not an essential amino acid. So glycine is an non-essential amino acid. Clear it is? Now, so what is the Zwitter ion of an amino acid? Give example or give its general formula. So when it comes to Zwitter ion, so the definition is the dipolar ion of amino acid. Dipolar ion of amino acid which moves neither towards anode nor towards cathode. Which moves neither towards anode nor towards cathode. So that is why it is not moving towards anode also, why it is not moving towards cathode also. So this is very, very important. Dipolar ion of amino acid. So when you consider an amino acid, already we have seen. So it is R, C, H it is, NH2, and it is C double bond OH group. Okay. So on nitrogen, we have a lone pair of electrons. On nitrogen, we have a lone pair of electrons. So this bond will be broken as O minus H plus. So the positive part of this one gets attracted towards the lone pair of electrons of nitrogen atom. Then this will be converted as R, C, H, NH3. It is one of the H's getting added here, NH3. On nitrogen will get a positive charge. It is C double bond O minus. So this is what the Zwitter ion is. So on the same molecule, so same amino acid molecule, you have negative charge also, you have positive charge also. So that's why, and it is in equal number. So it is O is also minus 1, N is also plus 1. So it is in equal number. So neither it moves towards anode nor it moves towards cathode. So a dipolar, two different oppositely charged groups they are. So of an amino acid is called as a Zwitter ion. So if you write this structure, this is enough. This is not required. So Zwitter ion form is nothing but positive and negative charge on the same amino acid group. If it is there, then it is a Zwitter ion. Clear? So the question already we have discussed. What are non-essential amino acids? Non-essential amino acids are the amino acids which are synthesized in the body. So synthesized in the body, we'll write it. Synthesized by the body or synthesized in the body, that is also fine. And we have example. Example is not asked, it is glycine, alanine, you can write glutamic acid. Clear? Next one, write the general formula. It is a 1 mark question, so you can observe it is a 1 mark question. So give the general structure of Zwitter ion. So already we wrote R, C, H, it is NH3 plus, and it is C double bond O minus or COO minus. That is the general form. Once again the same question is repeated. So write the general form of zwitterionic form of an amino acid. General form, if it is as same thing you'll be writing. So the next question is based upon write the what is zwitterionic structure of glycine. So glycine is nothing but everything remains the same, only it is hydrogen. In place of R, we are substituting hydrogen. So in place of R, if you substitute hydrogen, then the compound is called as glycine. So remaining zwitterionic form as it is. It is NH3 plus C double bond O C minus. So in place of R, we are substituting hydrogen, then it is glycine zwitterionic form. Clear? Vitamins are not there. The next question is of vitamins, which is not our syllabus. So the next part will move on to the peptide linkages. So we have one more question over here. So that is what is peptide linkage? How many peptide bonds are present in a tetrapeptide? So peptide linkage is nothing but, so when you consider one amino acid, let us general form only I am writing. At NH2 I had written as NHH. Okay. So carboxylic acid groups will take up. So this is one amino acid and this is another amino acid. So an amino acid where, so this is bonded like this, hydrogen is taken up and from here OH is being taken up and H2O is eliminated here. So hydrogen from this, it is H plus ion and then nitrogen becomes minus. If it is minus, then this carbon becomes a plus. So now combine both the things. So that is C R, it is H, C double bond O, it is N, H, C double bond O. Continue. N minus it is, combines with C plus, C double bond O, CH, NH2, R. So this bond between NH and C double bond O is called as peptide linkage. It is called as a peptide linkage. So an amide linkage. So we can define the, because it is a definition asked here. So it is the amide linkage. Amide linkage. That amide linkage, what is that amide linkage? It is CO and NH. CO-NH. So amide linkage, that is CO-NH linkage between two amino acids. Between two amino acids is called peptide bond or peptide linkage. Peptide bond or peptide linkage. Clear? Now, how many peptide bonds are present in a tetrapeptide? Tetrapeptide is nothing but, so 4 amino acids are there. 4 amino acids. Tetra indicates 4 amino acids. So among 4 amino acids, how many peptide bonds are there? So this is one peptide bond between 2 amino acids. This is another peptide bond. This is another peptide bond. So all these are peptide bonds. So total how many peptide bonds? 3 peptide bonds. So we can write, this is the first answer. So second answer is 3 peptide bonds. So if at all, if it is given like this, pentapeptide, then 1 less than that. So penta is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. So 4 peptide bonds will be present. It is tetrapeptide, 4 peptide they mentioned. So 4 in the sense 4 minus 1 is 3. So 3 peptide bonds will be present between the 4 amino acid groups. So next, all these amino acids are bonded like this only through peptide bond. If they'll be bonded to one another to build a long chain. Long chain of amino acids. That long chain of amino acids is called as proteins. So proteins are of two types. One is globular protein and another one is fibrous protein. So fibrous protein is nothing but it is a thread-like structure it has. So thread-like proteins are called as or thread-like structure proteins are called as fibrous protein. If it is in the spherical form, if they are in the folded form, then they are called as globular protein. So first thing they have asked that globular proteins, an example for globular protein. So fibrous protein, if at all, if it is checked, fibrous proteins are nothing but. So we have one definition. First we'll define that one and then we'll move on to the next question. So fibrous proteins are nothing but they are thread-like structure. The proteins with thread-like structures are called as fibrous proteins. So we have been asked with an example. So example is keratin. So we have keratin which is present in hair. So that's why, so it is in an straight form or it is an thread-like form. So we can also write myosin. That is also an example for fibrous protein. Next, globular protein. Globular proteins are nothing but they are in the folded form. The structure of the proteins which are, if at all, if it is in the folded form, then it is globular proteins. So example it is asked. So first one, so we can write the example as insulin or albumin. Albumin. Next, naturally occurring optically inactive amino acid. It is very important question. So only one amino acid, only one. Naturally some 20 amino acids are there. Among the 20 amino acids, only one which is optically inactive, that is glycine. Remaining all are optically active. The only amino acid which is glycine, so that is optically inactive. Clear? Next, so this is about the globular protein and fibrous protein questions. So next we have what is denaturation of proteins. Denaturation of protein is a process in which the protein loses their tertiary structure and secondary structure by application of some external stress like changing temperature, pressure or pH. So if you change either temperature, pressure or pH, the protein loses its tertiary and secondary structure. Or we can say that by the application of temperature, pressure or pH, if protein loses its secondary and tertiary application, so tertiary and secondary structure, then it is called as a denaturation of protein. So denaturation is nothing but it is losing. D is losing its nature, losing its original nature. So the nature is due to its structure. Nature is one of the main component of the nature of the compound. Nature of any substance is based upon its structure. So if it loses its secondary and tertiary structure, nothing but it is losing its nature itself. So by the application of temperature, pressure or pH, if protein loses its secondary or tertiary structure, then it is nothing but denaturation of protein. Nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are the biopolymers of nucleotides. So we can write down that one. Nucleic acids are the biopolymers of nucleotides. So we have one more question, that is what is nucleotide. So if you check a nucleotide, so the nucleotide is made up of a 5-membered cyclic monosaccharide unit. So 5-membered monosaccharide unit nitrogenous base and a phosphate group. If a 5-membered monosaccharide unit is bonded to nitrogenous base and that is combining with phosphate group, then it is called as a nucleotide. So each nucleotide is made up of all these things, all these three parts. Okay. So now sugar is nothing but monosaccharide. So a 5-membered sugar moiety will call, or a 5-membered pentose sugar in short form will call pentose sugar. 5-membered monosaccharide is nothing but 5-membered monosaccharide as pentose sugar. So we have two types of nucleic acids, that is RNA and DNA. So we have two types of nucleic acids. So it is RNA and DNA. So pentose sugar in case of RNA is, in case of RNA, the pentose sugar present is D-ribose. In case of DNA present is, so it is 2-deoxy-D-ribose, deoxy-D-ribose or 2-deoxyribose, either the one. D-ribose, 2-deoxy-D-ribose. So writing 2 is very, very important. Deoxy-D-ribose. Next, which are all the bases? So we have nitrogenous bases here. So which are all the bases which are present, we shall see. So in case of RNA, which are the bases present are, so each one consists of 4 bases. Each one is with the 4 bases. So RNA is consisting of adenine and it is guanine, cytosine and it is uracil. Adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil. Likewise, DNA consists of adenine. So it is guanine, it is cytosine and it is thymine. So the difference is uracil in case of RNA and thymine in case of DNA. So thymine is present in case of DNA and uracil is present in case of RNA. So these are the differences in what are bases. Phosphate group is same. So in both the cases phosphoric group is present, that is PO4 2 minus. So phosphate group is same. So that is bonded to an 5 pentose sugar as well as bases. So suppose if at all, if it is an, so if it is the compound is with only pentose sugar and nitrogenous base. Pentose sugar and nitrogenous base if it is there. So we'll write it. It is pentose sugar plus base if it is, then it is called as nucleoside. Nucleoside. To this nucleoside, if you are adding phosphate ester or phosphate group, then it is called as nucleotide, because it is an important 1-mark question. It is nucleotide. So that is what the compound, that is what nucleotide and nucleoside is. To be more clear, we can say that the first position of sugar is being attached to base. The first position of sugar is being attached to base is called as nucleoside. So here, so nucleotide, when you are telling, it is the 5th group or 5th carbon of sugar moiety is attached to phosphate group to the first carbon. So if it is like this, we said that it is the 5-membered ring, it is like this. So to the first group, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and it is 5. So it is 5th carbon here. Okay. So we'll write it here, CH2, this is first carbon, second, third and it is 4. So to the first carbon we have base attached. To the 5th carbon phosphate group is attached. So to the first carbon of sugar base is attached, then it is nucleoside. To the 5th carbon of sugar group phosphate is attached, then it is a nucleotide. So this is about the RNA and DNA. Few questions are there, so we'll discuss according to the question paper pattern. What is a nucleotide? Already we have discussed, that is a nucleoside linked to phosphoric acid, or when a nucleoside is linked to phosphoric acid at 5th position. Already we have discussed a nucleotide or nucleoside. A nucleoside linked to phosphate group. Phosphate group at the 5th position of sugar moiety is called nucleotide. Or in the form of that formula also you can write. A nucleoside plus phosphate group is nothing but nucleotide. Nucleoside is nothing but pentose sugar bonded to a nitrogenous base, or nitrogenous base is forming a bond. Nitrogenous base is forming a bond at 1st position of sugar. Nitrogenous base attaches to a pentose sugar moiety at 1st position is called a nucleoside. Nitrogenous base with the pentose sugar. So here you can mention pentose sugar. A pentose sugar. Next, name the base which is present in DNA but not in RNA. So DNA it is present and RNA it is not present. That is thymine. Next, name the nucleic acid which is responsible for genetic information. So two types of we have two types of nucleic acid. So one is DNA and the other one is RNA. So genetic information is based upon DNA. RNA is helpful in synthesis of proteins. So the main importance of RNA, it is synthesizing proteins and many other information. So it passes the messages from one organ to another organ. Like that, many other importance is there, but the genetic information has to be transferred from one generation to another generation. It is by DNA. That is what called heredity, which is for a genetic information transformation is nothing but it is heredity. From one generation to another generation, through genetics it is transforming, and that is based upon, or that is due to DNA. So name the sugar moiety which is present in DNA. The sugar moiety which is present in DNA is 2-deoxyribose. 2-deoxy-D-ribose or 2-deoxyribose, that is fine. Name the base present only in RNA but not in DNA. It is uracil. Uracil is the only base which is present in RNA but not in DNA. Name the base which forms hydrogen bonds with adenine in double-stranded helix structure of DNA. So in case of DNA, if you check, so adenine is forming a bond with the thymine. Likewise, guanine is forming a bond with the cytosine. And these bonds are hydrogen bonds. How many hydrogen bonds it is forming? It is forming 2 hydrogen bonds and it is forming 3 hydrogen bonds. Now in this question, name the base which forms a hydrogen bond with adenine in double-stranded helical structure is adenine. It is thymine. Thymine is the one which is forming hydrogen bonds. So which base forms hydrogen bonds with guanine in DNA? So in DNA, guanine is forming a bond with the cytosine. So how many bonds it is forming? 3 hydrogen bonds it is forming. So the number of hydrogen bonds are also important. So you need to remember that one also. So next one more question is what is the structural difference between the RNA and DNA? Structural difference. So DNA is made up of beta D 2 deoxyribose. The pentose sugar used is, so it is 2 deoxyribose. All these are the structural form only. So here the sugar used is D-ribose, that's it, ribose sugar. And we can say that the nitrogenous bases which DNA contains is thymine, it contains as the extra one, and it doesn't contain uracil. It doesn't contain uracil. So here it is, so it contains uracil but not thymine. So likewise, if you check, it is a double-stranded helical structure. It contains a double-stranded helical structure, but here it is a helical structure only, but it is single-stranded. So these are the few importance, and we can write it is responsible for heredity. These are the chemical material here responsible for heredity. These are responsible. These are not responsible, but it can synthesize proteins. So that we can write it. Main important structural difference is this one. Thank you.